my goal is to make the entire world laugh. When I create a video, one of the rules I have is this video funny on mute. I read something that like 75% of content viewed on Facebook is viewed without audio. Why? Because people are watching when they're not supposed to, at school, on a noisy metro, at work. If your goal is to reach the entire world, there's a big difference between 10 million views and 200 million views. I was just in South Korea. I remember like so many people would come up to me and just hug me. They don't even speak English. And they're like, oh, TikTok. Like they'll just say like, they'll just name it. Like, and it's crazy that like they watch. They don't even speak English.
Yeah. My name is Derek Wolfe. I'm a Super Bowl champion and a 10-year NFL vet. Now, after a decade of professional football, I'm focusing on my other passions. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Wolfe Untamed podcast. Today's guest is Adam Waheed, Adam W, if you follow him on social media. He's got 40 million followers across all platforms. He's known for doing his funny skits, and he's really a comedian doing some stand-up now. He's opened for Kevin Hart and a couple other big-time comedians. So check this one out. Should be a good one. Adam, man, thank you so much for the time. I know you're busy as hell.
We've been trying to do this. We made it happen.
Well, I mean, this is months in the making, right?
Months in the making.
We almost had it locked in right before, in May, right?
I think so.
I think it was right before Abby's birthday. Yeah. And then your flight kept getting pushed back in Dubai.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was there. I was supposed to go there for like 3 days, and then I was about to leave, and then I got like another deal, so I had to stay like another 4 days, and then I was gonna leave again, and I got another deal. I love Dubai, but yeah, I ended up like staying. A 3-day trip turned into a month.
I mean, there's a lot worse places to be.
Yeah. Dubai is actually. Have you been?
No, I never been, but everybody that I talked to that's been over there is like, dude, it's expensive, dope. But it is like so.
It's really, you know what they say? It's expensive. It's not really that expensive. Like I mean, like it's probably the same prices as LA, maybe.
Yeah.
You know,
just like any major city, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they have everything. They have like you can go like swimming in the deepest pool in the world. Like they have the best of everything. They have the biggest mall in the world. They have the tallest building in the world. It's insane. I've been there so many times and I haven't even done all the things you can do. I've probably done like 20% of what you could do there.
But everybody listening, I want to introduce you to Adam Waheed. So the way I know Adam is because Gabby, who's like a sister to me, and my wife's best friend,
she's like a sister to me also.
Well, she is your sister.
Oh yeah, you know what I mean.
Obviously the better looking one of you two, for sure.
They say that she looks like me with a wig on. That's what they say. I don't. That's what they say.
Put a little Beijing on her face.
Yeah, that's what they say.
It's so fucking silly. But that's how we know each other, and you know, it's just been awesome to watch you grow because I met you I knew about you so long ago and I've watched you grow from like just starting 7-8 years ago to like now you're just like world known, like seeing you on Wild and Out, Forbes 30 under 30, 9.5 million followers on Instagram, 40 million total followers is what you have across all platforms, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's like about like 50 now, but yeah.
Just an extra 10
million.
An extra cool 10 mil.
I do have like goals of like follower count. So I mean my next number I want to get to is 100 million overall across the board.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Yeah,
you will.
Working towards that.
Because if you think, I mean, you're on just an absolute rocket ship. So
yeah,
and I'm happy for you. And
Thank you very much.
I think it's awesome how you're doing it too. You're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
How did you start? Like, what clicked in your head? And you're like, you know what, man, I'm just gonna start making skits.
Man, so originally I was playing football in college, and I wanted to go to the NFL. That was like my dream. Played it my whole life. It didn't end up working out, and I just wasn't good enough. And I was like, shit, like, what am I gonna do with my life? And at that time, actually, I moved in with Gabby because I went to school in Dallas, SMU.
Yeah. And
she was living in Houston at the time, and I moved over there, and I was like, I'm not gonna get an office job. I'm not gonna get a 9-to-5. Like it's not my thing. And I was kind of going through this like 3-month, 4-month period of like, what the hell am I gonna do with my life? Like I have no clue what I want to do. And one of the things that was always easy for me was just being funny, being myself. And it was something that was effortless. I never really had to try it. And my sister was like, oh, you should go to LA and try to like do comedy, be an actor. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. So never been, just moved there. And I'm trying to act, I'm trying to get auditions, trying to get a manager, agent, etc. And you don't realize till you get there, right, that everybody wants to be an actor there.
Right. Everybody there is there for that reason.
And not only does everybody want to be an actor, but there's always going to be someone funnier than you. There's always going to be someone better looking than you. There's just always going to be just better people than you. You're going against the best of the best of the best.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to get discouraged, right? So I was there. I'm working as an assistant to make some money, doing some valet as well, just to make ends meet, pay my rent, which she was actually also helping me with at times a little bit as well. But yeah, I was just trying to hustle, make money, and act. And I couldn't get an audition. I couldn't get anything. I barely get a conversation with people. And a lot of people do move out there. They'll be there for like a year, maybe less. And, a lot of people haven't heard no before. For me, like I walked on to SMU. I didn't play until my senior year. And when I did, it was just special teams. So for me, all I heard was no. It was nothing new to me to hear no. So I was like, I'll stick it out, and I'll keep grinding at it, try different avenues, angles, and just getting nothing. And a year and a half went by, and I was like, shit, like this is just nothing's going my way. I can't get anything. And I saw people making content online, on Instagram, Vine, YouTube,
Vine.
all that. And I was like, shit, maybe if I make a video, a director will see it and he'll put me in a movie. That was the whole reason I wanted to make a video. For a director to see it, which by the way, back then there was definitely no directors on social media like really watching. Not the big directors, not like your Michael Bays or anyone like that, right? This is like
they're doing, but what's crazy is they are doing that now.
Well,
they are pulling people from social media and YouTube and putting them in movies.
Yeah, but this is 2016. There wasn't even a TikTok back then.
Yeah, nobody.
It was Musical.ly back then. So it was like, it was very, very like a very new thing. And, traditional Hollywood was definitely not involved or in tune or watching social media. So it made no sense for me to even have that thought process. But what do I know? I had no clue what I was doing. So I'm like, all right, I got to make a video. So keep in mind, I'm saying I want to be an actor. I've never acted before because I also didn't have money to even go to acting class. It was like $400 a month or like, whatever. I didn't have that. So like, I'm telling people like, yeah, I'm an actor. You should put me in this, put me in this. Never actually done it before. Never been on camera, nothing. So I'm like, all right, yeah, like, I'm going to film this video. So never filmed anything, never edited anything. So I just go to Google and search, how do you shoot? How do you edit? And I'm watching other people's stuff and I'm like trying to shoot a video. It doesn't work. I don't know how to edit. I'm editing off iMovie, just trying. It took me almost like 4 months to even make that one video just because I had no clue what I was doing.
Yeah.
People don't realize, at least for what I do, which is sketch comedy online, it's such a process, right?
Yeah.
You're going from ideation to then putting pen to paper to then actually producing it and then showing up and executing it, acting it. Then after that, editing it, the whole post-production and posting it, you can fall in a gap in any one of these steps that can ruin the entire video, right? So I'm going back and forth just trying to make this video, and I have like, I don't know, I think I had about 300, 400 followers at the time, which was mainly family and people from college, friends. And I put this video out, and after like 4 months of like grinding, trying to make this video, and I finally put it out, and it gets 90 views. And I'm like, fuck this. That's it. I'm done. Like I've tried everything, and this was like my last straw, and I put this video out and it gets 90 views. And I'm like, F this, like, that's it. I'm gonna move back. My mom lives in New York. I was like, I just move back home, get a job, figure it out. And this happened at the beginning of the month, and I was gonna, finish out the month, get paid to book my flight with my boss. And I was like, well, I have a whole nother month. I might as well shoot a couple more videos. Why not? Right? Yeah. So I put out another video, boom, same thing, like 70 views. I put out another one, like probably 75 views again. And then the fourth one that I posted in the morning, and at nighttime, it had 1,000 views, which was like nothing crazy, but
but that's 10 times more than.
Yeah, exactly. I had 300 followers, so like 1,000 views. I was like, oh, it's kind of dope, but nothing like I was like, I made it or anything, right? And then I went to bed. I woke up the next morning. I'm getting all these texts like, your video's going crazy. I saw your video. And I'm like, what the hell? I go on my Instagram and the video has 400,000 views.
Oh.
And I'm like, what the fuck happened last night? How is this possible? And I found out that Ludacris, the rapper, so random, shared my video. And it just went viral. It went all over. And that like bumped me up to like 7,000 followers. And that was like it. That was like, for a year and a half of trying something and getting like zero result, it's very discouraging. And that was like the best news. That was the greatest thing that happened to me in a year and a half of the whole journey process. Seeing that viewership, seeing that, hey, I created something that someone actually liked.
Right.
And people actually shared it, and people actually enjoyed this video. And that like gave me all the confidence I needed. So I ended up still quitting my job, and I ended up just filming a video every single day. Some of those videos saw the light of day, some of them didn't, but every day I would film something and just keep working at the craft. And And, you know, I even had called my boss and I was like, hey, you know, did you see my video? And he's like, yeah, it went crazy. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to quit. And he's like, you're going to quit because you had a viral video? I'm like, yeah, I'm famous now. Like, this is the lifestyle I live now.
I'm famous.
Yeah. And then the next video I posted got like 400 views. And I'm like, what the fuck? How is this possible? So it wasn't like I posted that video and I made
and then it blew up. Yeah, you still had to keep grinding.
The next video got no viewership. Then like 2 videos later, I got like 7,000 views. And then like 3 videos later, I got 20,000 views. And then it dropped again. So it was a lot of this. It was a lot of like ups and downs. You know, it wasn't a consistent viewership that I was getting.
And where were you posting all these?
Instagram.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
Do you think were you posting them at like random times?
I would try different times. I would try, like, if something did well at 11 a.m., I would make it my mission. Like, this thing, even if it was 10:59, I'm not posting. It has to go up at 11 a.m. And then if it didn't do well, I'd be like, all right, let me try another time. Let me try like noon. Or let me try, I've changed my posting schedule over the years, just experimenting.
The algorithm's always changing. So.
The algorithm changes. Like, I mean, the rules that were the rules back then are not the rules now. The rules that were the rules 2 weeks ago are not the rules now. So it's a very like ever-changing landscape. Like, you have to constantly be on your feet. You have to constantly be looking at insights, numbers. Like, I look at analytics all day. Like, I look at like, hey, where did people drop off on my video? Oh, at the 35-second mark. What happened at the 35-second mark? Oh, it's probably because the video got a little boring or slow here. So I always try to trim all the fat off the videos. One of the things I do also when I post the videos, in the first 5 seconds, I'm already establishing what the concept is, because it's very easy to scroll off something. You know, if you take like 30 seconds, 20 seconds to get into something, boom, you're scrolling off the video, right? So like in the first 5 seconds, if you're not establishing a joke or a conflict or some sort of loud action, most likely someone's going to swipe away. So I have all these rules.
There's science behind that as well, because the average person, you know, is like 6 seconds attention
even
span.
me, if someone doesn't entertain me in 2 seconds, I'm like,
oh yeah,
next,
me too. Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah, and sometimes I watch stuff where I'm not even really watching. I'm doing something else. Like, there's just so much. I always try to take myself out of my position and put myself in the shoes of somebody who's never seen me before. Because ultimately, like, yes, you want to please the followers you have, and those are the people that rock with you, the ride or dies, right? But it's all about, as well, you know, getting new followers, right? And how do you get a new follower? And what is their experience when they first come in contact with you? Like, why would they want to press follow? Why would they even want to watch the video all the way through? So I always try to take myself out. I put Easter eggs in for people who have been day one fans or fans who know me, but it is important to also be able to deliver comedy to somebody who's never seen you before. And what is the entry point for that person to follow you? How are you able to make that person laugh? So I'm always thinking that.
So were you always looking to make people laugh? Were you like that as a kid? Like, when you were young?
Yeah,
like,
I was always like class clown.
Like goofing in the locker room.
Yeah, I was the guy. I would go out of the classroom and gather people in the hallways from other classes. Yeah, I barely graduated high school. I went to community college, and then I transferred to SMU.
Okay.
But yeah, it was always, I mean, I never thought of it like, oh, I could do this as a job. It was always just like, oh, I'm fucking around. It's easy to like make people laugh, you know?
Yeah, it's fun.
But laughing, being able to use comedy in everyday situations in life in general is like one of the most powerful tools, in my opinion. Because,
I believe
you know, it's really like, if you can make anybody laugh. Like, I remember I used to, man, maybe I don't do it as much anymore, but I remember like before social media, I always used to go in a room like, I don't care if this guy's like an 80-year-old white man, I'm gonna make him laugh. Or I don't care if this is like a 17-year-old kid that is, you know, a minority or Asian or what. I would just try to take anybody from any background and I would just try stuff, and I'd play this game in my head of like, all right, well, I'm gonna make this person laugh. What do I have to, what kind of comedy do they like, right? And you got to test stuff, right? But then you also have to do it in a smooth way where it doesn't look like you're trying to make them laugh, right?
Yeah.
So it really is like, it's a crazy tool. I didn't even realize that I used to play this game like until like recently when I kind of like started to reflect on it. But I always try to get in the room, and I don't care what you look like or where you're from or how old you are, I'm gonna get you to laugh.
Well, you know, being funny is a sign of high intelligence. It really is.
I'm a pretty smart guy.
Well, you're talking. It's funny because you're talking about like how, you know, you just weren't great at school.
Yeah.
Like traditional school, right?
Yeah.
Which is funny how they acute that they make that like the standard for who's smart and who's not, is how you did in sitting in a fucking classroom for 8 hours a day.
Yeah, I was definitely a weird guy.
You know,
I
that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So I understand. So when you started like. What year is this when you were living in LA?
2000. I moved there 2016. No, 2015. End of like 2015, I moved there. And And then, yeah, year and a half just grinding, trying to figure it out.
Hey guys, I want to talk to you about one of my favorite sponsors, Juniper Mountain Coffee. Coffee without compromise. You're getting high quality coffee without the high prices. This is an American company that stands behind their values. They stand behind their coffee. These guys make some of the best coffee I've ever had. It's a coffee I drink every morning. Juniper Mountain Coffee works directly with the farmers, paying fair wages, and that way you have no middleman. There's no BS, no garbage. You're getting high quality products. So go check them out at junipermountaincoffee.com.
These are like cringeworthy for me to watch.
Let's see.
Oh, not this one. Oh, this is a super old series. Oh, hey, let's watch the ad though. Let's watch the ad. Come on. I need that. I need that money. No, don't skip through any of these. I'm collecting a check while you're doing this. No, I'm just playing. You can skip it.
Please skip it.
Hey, baby, how you doing?
Thank you.
Oh, man.
That a must. We don't do those.
This series was like, whatever was wrong with the girl and like a guy didn't like, I'd come with like a solution and take her home. Man, this is rough. This is rough.
Huh, no, I mean, you way too tall for me. I'm sorry.
I'm way too tall.
This is like, you know, when your mom like shows like, my mom shows my videos to people in front of me and I'm like, oh my God. This is like seven years. Yeah, I think they got it. I think they get the point.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. This is how long ago did they say this was?
I think it was 2017.
7 years ago. Sheesh. Yeah, 7 years ago. And you know what's crazy? This isn't even, it didn't even, I posted it on Instagram first. I probably uploaded this on YouTube like years later.
Yeah.
So it's
And
probably like 10 years ago.
How do you, do you just sit around and come up? Do you have anybody that you brainstorm it off of? Do you like,
Yeah.
what does it look like in your head whenever like that, when you're like, that's it, that's what I want to do?
It's changed and it comes from so many different ways. I used to people watch. I used to go to the park or just go out and just watch somebody. And you watch somebody for long enough, they're going to do something. Something awkward's going to happen. Something funny's going to happen. Something weird's going to happen. But now, it's not as easy to do that. If I go out, like a lot of times people will recognize me.
Right.
And I can't like just really get in my bag about just looking at somebody. I talk to people. A lot of times I talk to people that aren't even comedians. Like you don't even have to be funny. A lot of times for the creative process, like just having an idea and then calling anybody up and talking it out, I'll be telling them the idea. And as I tell them it, I'm coming up with the idea. And I'm like, oh, this would be fun if I did this. So some of it is just like word vomit, getting it out. Some of it's watching people. A lot of times I'll scroll. It's really everyday life. That's where all the ideas come from. And it's so important too for a lot of guys that, you know, if you start to get fame, you start to get money, you know, it's important to always stay grounded because I don't ever want to get not relatable, right? Like I want to always showcase what's happening to the average person across the world always. So, I mean, my brain is just wired for it. Like when I walk in somewhere, you know, if someone says something, I'm already like, oh, that's a funny idea. Oh, I should shoot that. Like the other day I walked in somewhere and I was asking for the Wi-Fi password and they're like, oh yeah, the Wi-Fi password's XYZ985. I'm like, this is the craziest password ever. So like why would you not change your Wi-Fi password? They gave me it took them like 34 seconds to tell me their whole Wi-Fi password. And then I ended up like not putting it in all caps and I'm like, fuck, I gotta start over. So like that is an idea I did because like, you know, when you go and ask somebody for a Wi-Fi password and then I escalate it, right? That's the base idea. That's the relatability. And then boom, okay, now part of the password is in Japanese and they're telling me in Japanese. And then now I have to download this app to get the rest of the password. And it's like this long thing where it escalates and gets ridiculous. And then at the end, oh, you forgot to put it in caps. You got to start over.
Yeah.
You know, so like, a lot of times, you know, pretty much all of my ideas, we didn't play it yet. I think the TSA one, that one, like, that happened to me, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if anybody's ever dealt with TSA, they've been groped.
I'm going to have to stop you right here, pat you down in zones 8, 7, and 6.
This is real TSA.
Down the worst zones. Yeah.
This is real TSA.
No, this is a set. This is a set.
Is she real TSA though?
No, she's an actress. It wasn't this sensual. I wish it was, but it's happened to me before. They really get in there. Shout out to Jodeci too. This is a throwback. It was also like the AC in this place was broken, so it was like 100 degrees.
All right, you good? Next, sir. You want my number or you want to exchange?
All right, pal. Keep it moving, guys. Keep it moving.
She just moved on like I was worthless. I thought we had a connection. Yeah, but like, see, like something like that.
Hold on, real quick. I got questions still about this. So you're in like a warehouse?
This is an airplane set. It's like a studio in LA.
Oh, okay.
Where they rent out.
I was wondering where you get a lot of these, like, because over the years your props have just gotten better.
You know what's crazy?
Better.
Some people comment, like some people have commented on that video, like, "There's no way this guy convinced that lady to do that at the airport." I'm like, "You think this happened like while I was just going like on my flight to like Florida, like they just did it?" Like, yeah, but you know, I guess not everybody knows, but yeah, it's all a set. You probably this is worse for you. Imagine you using an airplane bathroom,
bad.
bro. Hey, you're way bigger than me.
I'm like, it's bad because I'm like,
yeah,
dunked down, my head's all twisted.
it's rough.
Catching a cramp, it's miserable.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a set. It's a set. So it's cool. You know, that's the great thing about living in LA. They have so many sets.
And then what you've done like as of like the last 2 years, really, if you started to work with other creators as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which what's that like? Have you ever had like what's your best experience doing that, and what's your worst experience doing that? I guess is what I want.
Okay. Good question.
Anytime you're working with like people like that, they're never who you think they are. Right?
Yeah. So I'll give you worst experience first. I remember, so this was like before I ever had any followers. So let me rewind. When I made that first video, before that, I did see like some content creators. I lived in an area where a lot of them were, you know, in North Hollywood, there was tons of them. And I used to go up to people and I'm like, "Hey man, I'm a big fan. I watch your stuff. Like, I'm an actor. If you ever need somebody like in the background of a video, let me know." And most people would be like, "Yeah, give me your number." And they wouldn't give me their number, and then I'd never hear from them. But I didn't take it personal, right? And you know, I just knew
I bet
like
they regret that now.
Yeah. You know what? You know what's crazy? I met a lot of people twice. Yeah. I met a lot of people twice where like, you know, I could genuinely see that like I met this person before, but they truly didn't remember who I was that first time they met me. So, but anyway, so I remember I went up to this one guy. He had around like, I want to say he had like 200,000 followers at the time, which like 2015, you had like 200,000 followers. You were like a god. That was like a big deal.
Yeah.
There's a lot of followers back then. There's a lot of followers now, but back then, you know, of course, there's way more creators now than there is back then. But I remember I went up to him and I was like, "Hey man, I'm an actor. If you ever need somebody in the background of your videos, like you let me know, I'll be there." And he took my number, and then like, I don't know, like 3 months later, he hits me up. He's like, "Hey, I'm shooting this video, and you should come be in it. Like, I need a background guy," right? I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. This is like the best news I've gotten. You know, I'm gonna be in this video." I started telling my friends, like, "I'm about to be in this guy's video. This is crazy." So I show up, and I'm cracking jokes. I'm making people laugh, you know, whatever. Just meeting anybody. I don't really know too many people in general, so I'm just introducing myself to people, you know, being respectful to everybody. I don't want to like, you know, rub anyone in the wrong way. I was just happy to be there.
Yeah.
And I remember there was like a scene where it was like me and like 2 other guys. And basically he was collabing with another creator, and that guy had like similar numbers, somewhere around like 100K. And I remember the guy that invited me was super nice, but the other guy was kind of just being a dick. And I'm like, fuck, like, did I want to say something to piss him off? Like, I don't want to get in his way or anything like that, but he was kind of being a dick to me. And I was like, "Oh, whatever, like, you know, I'm just happy to be here." And I remember it was like coming up to my scene, and he was like, "All right, you do the other guy," not the guy that invited me, was like, "Oh, you do this," to one guy, and then he told the other guy, like, "You do this." And then I was like, "Oh, what do you want me to do?" And he's like, "Oh, we're actually not gonna have you in the video, but can you move that chair?" And he like said in front of everybody, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll move the chair. Yeah, no problem." And I moved the chair, and I ended up not being in the video. And then the next day, the guy hit me up, and he's like, "Hey, my bad, we couldn't get you in the video, but we'll get you to the next one." And I'm like, "Yeah, for sure, man. No worries." And I ended up like, all the people I told that I was gonna be in the video, they were like, "Oh, where are you at in the video?" And I was like, "Oh, it's coming out." It didn't come out yet. And I was like, damn, like, I thought that was gonna be my chance to be in something. Yeah. Then like fast forward like 3 months later, I had that video take off, it went viral, etc. And then now transitioning into my good story. Don't quote me. It was like Daystorm or King Batch. One of those guys had, I don't think it was King Batch. It was like Daystorm. I don't know if you know Daystorm Power. He's a great creator. He's been doing it for a long time. He was Fine era.
I've probably seen it.
Yeah. He invited me to a shoot because he had saw one of my videos. And he was like, "Hey, you should come like come shoot a video with us." And it was basically like the Avengers of the internet at that time. It was like King Batch. It was like Hannah Stocking, the biggest creators in the world at the time. And I'm like, holy shit, like I got invited to the shoot day. And I got there and I was trying to act like I didn't know everybody. I was like, what's your name, King Batch? Meanwhile, I've seen like all of his videos. I've seen everyone's videos. I've studied everybody's stuff. Keep in mind, I'm just learning the craft. Like these guys are way more experienced than me. And they had seen a couple of my videos and everyone kind of knew, see my stuff. Of course, I've seen all their stuff. And I remember a lot of them were like, hey, Adam, how would you get this shot? And I'm like, oh, you would get it like this. Meanwhile, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. I have no clue at all. Like they're asking me questions like I'm an expert. But it was really cool to be around them. And like, you know, even now today, like I like to steal a lot of people's processes. Like I have my own process and it's all based off what I've seen from other people. Yeah. You know, like, oh, I like the way he does that. And I like how she does this. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to throw that out. I don't enjoy that part. That's not easy for me. And even now when I collab with other creators, it's so amazing because we make each other better, right? Like I'll see something like, hey, why are you doing it that way? You know, you can like save like 2 hours if you just did it this way, or, you know, you don't even need that shot. Why would you get that shot? And then they'll say something like, hey, you know, if you're shooting it like this, don't do that. So we're learning off each other and just constantly picking from each other. And that's how I've kind of formed my entire formula of how I create content, post, engage with fans, build community, all that. You know, all that stuff is so important. So collabing is huge.
When it comes to collabing, something that's I've always been like curious about is when it comes time for like financials. So like say you do a collab with somebody, how do you decide who gets what? Is that like predetermined? Yeah. Like is there like a contract that you guys have to do, or like what happens there? How do you figure that out? Like if you guys collab on a video, then it's like both of your videos. So who gets the check and then who cuts the check to the other person? Yeah,
so it's really whoever's video it is, right? Like you see tons of collabs, but you know, you can tell like if it's my idea and I have somebody in it, unless it's like a brand deal or a branded piece of content, you know, the culture is not really to pay somebody off of it. Because like you're using me, I'm using you, right? Like he jumps or she jumps in my video. Okay, boom. All right, when you need somebody, I'm gonna jump in your video, right? And we're kind of doing this cross collaboration, getting to steal each other's audience, getting introduced to each other's audience, similar to what we're doing. But whoever's content it is, whoever's editing it, whoever came up with the idea, that's whose video it ultimately is.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and the benefit is like, yeah, sure, you make some money and, you know, could you cut that person some money for it? Sure, but ultimately the real benefit is to be seen by that audience and then leverage that audience to become your audience and then, you know, create your content. Because like even when you collab, right? If I collab with somebody that has no content on their page, right? You have 1,000 followers, you have no content on your page. Yeah, everybody who saw you in my video will go to your page. But if there's nothing of value there, or there's nothing to say, oh, I love these videos. Oh, I've never seen these videos. Or, oh, I love this content. You're not going to get that follow, right? So it's important to collab with people, but at the same time, it's important to be well-equipped to collab with somebody. And what I mean by that is to have content on your page, or you won't reap the benefit of it.
Yeah. And you know, I did a Joe Rogan interview like before I started my podcast. And I'm like, why? I should have done this. I should have like waited and did it, you know, after I had my own podcast, because
that's what I'm saying.
I just wasn't thinking that way. You know what I mean? To me, I was like, yeah, I'll come on. Sure.
Yeah. Cause all the traffic is good. It's like, everyone's going to go look you up. Yeah. But it's like, if there's nothing there, it's, why would I want to follow you? Right.
Yeah. So I got a bunch of like Instagram. I mean, a lot of people on it from Instagram, like that follow him already follow me.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I gained a ton of followers from that. I gained, I don't know, probably like 50, 60,000.
But even you had like, you know, you were playing in the league. You had
content
so I had like playing on your page. So even for you, it's a higher conversion, right? But imagine like some random person that just doesn't even have anything on their page of value or something that someone will want to watch. It's tough to convert.
Well, yeah. So you have to build like a Rolodex first before you go do something like that. You have to like establish yourself.
Exactly.
Is there like a hierarchy?
I feel like there probably used to be a hierarchy back in the day where like, oh, if you shoot with this crew, you know, you can then shoot with this crew. It's very back in the day, it used to be very high school-y. It used to be like cliquey, like, this group of people doesn't shoot with these people and these people shoot with this. And it was like, dude, I just want to make good content. But I mean, I don't think there's a hierarchy as much anymore. I think there's so many creators now. I mean, you got to think like 2015, how many content creators in the entire world compared to now. I mean, it's like
everybody's
more.
trying to be it.
Yeah, everybody's a there's like, this is my world, and there's people that someone will show me and like, yo, you don't know this guy? I'm like, shit, I don't know this guy. What the hell? Like, you know, back in the day, you would have shown me anyone on the internet, I know who they are.
Yeah.
But that's also the amazing part about it. You know, there's so many people that are not waiting for Hollywood, not waiting for an opportunity. They're just making their own opportunities.
Well, Hollywood's scummy anyways, and like, you don't want to be. If you could do it yourself, then why? You know what I mean? If you could, because what was it? 2000 and I'm trying to think about my photographic memories kicking in here.
Oh yeah,
I run all these numbers.
Oh yeah.
What year was it? I think it was 2022. I think you made like, I'm not trying to be in your pockets, but you made like almost $8 million that year.
Yeah, it was a good year.
Which is like, dude, if you can make, I promise you, there 90% of Hollywood is not making
No,
7 to 8 million a year.
I mean, what does it come down to? Ownership. Everything is about ownership.
Exactly.
You know, a lot of times people are in films or do music, but how much of it do they own, right? Whereas for me or any social media content creator, you own your content outright, everything, right? So you can monetize that in whichever way you please, right? And that can live forever, and you can continuously make money off it, and all of the money off of it, right? Like 100% of it. So, yeah, it's really changed the game, you know? I remember a lot of times people would be like, oh yeah, you make those little videos. You make those
little videos.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, those little videos with those big checks.
Yeah.
They come with a lot of money.
All right, guys, I want to talk to you about a product that I've been using for a long time, over a decade. When I was playing football, one of my main staples in my diet was bison. I got my bison from Great Range Premium Bison. They make some of the finest cuts of bison you can get. These guys have ribeyes, ground beef, all the steaks that you want. My favorite part about Great Range is that you don't have to worry about antibiotics or growth hormones in their meats. Great Range Premium Bison is a family-owned company providing bison meat from family-owned ranches around the country. So please go check out greatrangebison.com.
So when did you start like actually making life-changing money doing this? Like,
I'd say,
how long did it take? Like, because I want people listening that are like, you know what, man, I don't want to be a creator. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
You know, like, because really, like, these 14, 15-year-old kids are like, they're doing extreme things now. Like, they're
insane.
It's getting out of control. Like, you said a kid just derailed a train.
I didn't see that. See, there's some shit
kid
that I don't know.
So I
gotta go watch
some
this.
kid in Nebraska. I think it was Nebraska. He like derailed a train.
Like how?
And now he's got like 4 felony charges. I don't know
How
how
many
he did
views
it.
did it do?
I don't know.
It probably did well.
I'm sure it's gonna
Wait,
all
like
go to
a,
legal
like a
fees.
train, like with people on it?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
No, it's like a cargo train.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my
Yeah, bro,
freaking
he derailed a
god!
train. I don't know.
Oh my god, are they okay?
17 years old.
Hey,
No, we don't
if
even
you're-
listen to this guy.
Kids out there, don't derail a train.
Don't. So
You're
like,
watching this.
So like that's why I think the way that you've done it is so incredible, because it's like it's so fucking funny and it's different every time. It's never like repetitive, and it's not the same shit over and over, but it's also the same concept, just different ideas behind that concept. And you're not doing something extreme trying to be like a one-hit wonder. You know, you do one big video, and then, you know, even like a guy like Mr. Beast, like I don't see how that's sustainable.
Yeah, he spends a lot of money. He spends he spent like $2 million, $3 million on a video.
I know that, which is, you know, I know he's making they valued his company. I don't know about now with all the allegations going on around him, but they evaluated his company like
$1 billion's gotta
like,
be, right?
like $1.5 billion or something, somewhere around there.
Makes sense.
He was already offered that, and he turned it down. So that
Don't offer
shows
me
you
that. You'd never see me again.
never again. Be on a boat somewhere.
Yeah.
Speaking of branding, have you thought about doing like any kind of branding product or any of that stuff? Because I know you do Old Spice, and you've worked with Pepsi, Disney, Adidas. Like, you've worked with some giant companies.
Yeah.
Have you thought about like starting your own actual brand?
I've thought about it. I've played around with it. I've like tested some stuff. I used to do merch. But ultimately, like, that's the thing. There's so many ways to make money when you have a social platform, right?
Mm.
Like, you can do live, you can monetize through this, through that, you can have product. And at a certain point, it's so I want to do everything. I'm like, oh, I want to do this. I want to do this. Oh, this person made this much money off this. I should do this. And I've kind of taken a step back over this past year and like, okay, there's 3 things that I want to do. And if these 3 things are not maybe the most lucrative at the time, I don't care, because these are the 3 things I want to do. Like, I'm still going to make a lot of money, right? And I never want to not do what I love. So the 3 things that I'm doing are the 3 things that I love to do and I'm passionate about. And yes, you can make great money off them. Could I be making more money if I maybe had a product? Sure, but I'm not really passionate about like, you know, necessarily being an entrepreneur, creating a product, and you know, I might come back on this podcast and be like, I regret saying that. But for now, what I'm passionate about most is just making people laugh, right?
Right.
So if it's not in the world of comedy, it's not really too enticing for me, and I don't want to just chase a paycheck.
Are you doing any stand-up?
Yeah, so that's one of the things. So my 3 things is stand-up, traditional like TV film, like creating projects, writing scripts, and then creating content online, which I'm already doing. So those 3 things, and that's already like, I barely have time to do anything with those 3 things, right? And I respect each of those crafts so much that I never, for example, for my stand-up tour, I can do a stand-up tour right now, right? Because I'm kind of working in reverse where I have an audience already that I can sell out to, right? But I don't necessarily have the material that's the best yet, right?
Right.
Like I need to get an hour and a half of amazing
really good
material,
set.
right? And not just do a tour to sell out just to do it, right? Because I respect the craft of stand-up comedy too much, right? And I really want to put the work in to really mold that material and make it amazing, right? And have somebody come to a show and say, holy shit, this was fucking hilarious and I had a great time tonight, right?
How do you practice that?
So I go up when I have time. I haven't been up in a while, a couple months, but I'll usually go to like Laugh Factory in Hollywood and I'll just go up and I'll try jokes. You know, I have like a solid 5 minutes that I know works. And what I do is I'll like sandwich in like 2 minutes of new material in between that 5, and just work out the jokes. You got to say it. You gotta experiment it. You gotta even down to your facial expressions, how you deliver stuff. It's such a science, man. It's such a science. So that's kind of how I do. I just practice. I just go up on a Friday night, Saturday night, hop on a show, do a guest spot, work out jokes.
I mean, they say Rogan said Chappelle still does that.
Everybody does that.
I feel like that's like how you hone that craft, like you perfect it.
Oh yeah,
make it so that you know exactly when you get up there on stage. There's no doubt in your mind that it's going to be good.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, for sure. I think like when you first go up there, right? When you're first doing stand up, even from my experience, right? When I go up, I'm like, oh shit, my heart's
I'm
my
sure.
heart's going right. And then after like you go maybe 20, 30 times, right? That feeling of the heartbeat, at least for me, it goes away, right? And now it's like, hey, if I say a joke and somebody doesn't laugh, all right, maybe I can say it a different way, or maybe I shouldn't have worded it like this, or maybe I should add this. So I'm not like, holy shit, I just said a joke and no one laughed. I'm more, I'm in my head fixing the joke while I'm saying the next joke. So it's like a very technical in the sense of you're just putting words in a specific order.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And the order will get you a certain laugh or it won't. And you can maybe change the order sometimes and you get a laugh. Maybe you change the order 5 times, you still don't get a laugh. All right, F that joke. Maybe you say it in the same order and then you do a certain facial expression or a certain like body movement and you get the laugh. It's just so calculated. But you ultimately do, like, I mean, I could say like, hey, I'm 85, 90% sure this joke's gonna work. But there's always that 50% that, oh shit, this is not gonna work.
Yeah.
And if it's
there's
not
so many
work,
different ways to skin the cat, you know, because look at the comedy now, like look at the biggest names in stand-up, right? Every couple years it like shifts and changes, right? Like you got your Cat Williams and your Kevin Hart's, and you got your Theo Vaughn's, and you got your Shane Gillis's, and then you got your Tony Hinchcliffe. Like those are all different.
All different styles.
All different styles,
eras.
right? And that's just like 5 big ones, you know?
Yeah.
And they just keep, and then you got like Rogan, he's doing like a live Netflix event.
Oh, I didn't even hear about that.
He's doing a live Netflix event.
Shit.
Kind of like how they did the roast with Tom Brady.
Oh, that was fucking gold.
They're doing the same type of thing. Joe has like 36 million average listeners on his podcast. And his podcast, just on his podcast.
Sheesh.
And his podcast alone, I mean, like he just signed a $250 million deal with Spotify. And he'll be the first to tell you, like, dude, I never thought podcasting would be what took off, like ever, But he talks about comedy in a way like finding a mentor there. So like,
man, he's like a student of the game.
He really is a student of the game. Like, and he does a really good job of being like, I say bipartisan, because sometimes people like to pick a side. I'm guilty of doing that a lot of times where I'm really a middle of the road guy, but I like to pick a side and stand on that. And sometimes that can hurt you.
Yeah.
But what you've like guys like you, where you can like, you appeal to both sides of because right now we're a divided country. You know what I mean? And you appeal to both sides. Like you're funny to both sides. And that's like, that can bring people together. You know what I mean? And I think that's where comedy has its place in our society right now. Is like, that's where we can come together and both agree that that's pretty funny.
Absolutely.
Like, we could just laugh. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, what you believe. That's funny. Like, let's just laugh.
Yeah. So,
has there been anybody that's like in the stand-up game? I mean, that's like been like, hey, like, let me, I can help you here.
Yeah, absolutely. Dane Cook.
Okay.
He's been an awesome mentor. He let me open up for his whole tour. And man, just talking to the guy, like listening to him speak about his process, stories, experiences he's gone through, letting me open up for him. I'm a sponge. I'm soaking it all in. Yeah. It's crazy to see his process, how he writes and goes about his comedy. And then working with a guy like Kevin Hart, who let me open up for him, his process of how he goes about comedy, right? It's amazing to see where a joke starts, right? Because even for Kevin, right, like I got to see him working on his new material that he's gonna come out with a special soon. He's on tour right now. I saw some of those jokes when he first started them to where they're at now, and it's crazy how they transform, what he keeps, what he throws out, what he adds in. It's like, it's masterful. And even like if a guy is not like, hey, I'm gonna mentor you and I'm gonna show you the ropes of blah, blah, blah. You don't even have to do that. Just being a fly on the wall in the room, I'm soaking in this whole process, even down to the point of how are you even talking to people? Like Kevin, one of the busiest guys in the world. He's doing everything. He's got his hands in everything. He's crushing everything. The way he talks to people, shakes everybody's hand, looks everybody in the eye, makes sure everybody's having a great experience, right? It made me look back at me. I'm like, hey, am I being nice to people on my set? Like, am I shaking everyone's hand? Am I going about that? Like the professionalism, that's not something he's ever told me, but it's just something I've noticed being around him, right? So it's been cool to be around a lot of those guys that I've watched for years, looked up to, and just see how they move. Just what are they like in an environment, right? So definitely those two guys in the world of stand-up.
I think it goes back to what you said earlier about, staying relatable.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you become unrelatable, then people, then you start getting like, people are just watching you just because they hate you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not because they think you're funny. They're just like, oh, I'm waiting for him to fail. I'm waiting for him to fuck up,
I mean, even him, I think Kevin said something on a podcast once, or don't quote me somewhere, but he was like, his goal is to make the entire world laugh, right? And in order to do that, you have to be relatable, right? And even for me, like the comedy that I do, right? Like I can be very topical. I can do stuff on mainstream media, right? And I could do stuff that may be specific to North America, right? Or even more specific into that, an LA thing or a New York thing, right? But I choose not to because my goal is to make the entire world laugh, right?
Yeah.
So like even language, right? So even like when I create a video, one of the rules I have is this video funny on mute? Can you understand at least what's going on in this video on mute?
Because a lot of people are watching shit on mute.
Oh yeah. So I think it was like on Facebook, like a few years ago, I read something that like 75% of content viewed on Facebook is viewed without audio. Why? Because people are watching when they're not supposed to, at school, on a noisy metro, at work, right?
Or so they just don't have headphones.
Yeah, they don't have headphones, So that's a rule I have. I'm like, shit, this has to be funny on mute. You have to understand it at least on mute. And then what the audio does is the audio enhances it. And that's not like for a creator like that's out there right now trying to create, hey, don't do stuff with audio. What we're doing right now is audio based, right? But if your goal is to reach the entire world, right? There's a big difference between
barrier. Yeah,
language is a barrier. There's a big difference between 10 million views and 200 million views. Right?
Huge difference.
10 million is a lot of views though, right? I know a lot of times when I travel, I was just in South Korea, and not North Korea. I was in South Korea. I was in South Korea.
I was like, did Kim bring you over? Kim's like, this guy's funny. Get him over here.
Nah.
Would you go though? Would you go if he asked you?
I would love to check it out. Why not?
Yeah. I would.
Yeah,
I would honestly.
I would go check it out.
I would like to see.
I don't know how long I stay, but I'd check it out.
You might not be allowed to leave.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I don't know. But yeah, when I went to South Korea, I remember like so many people would come up to me and just hug me, and they don't even speak English, and they're like, "Oh, TikTok," like they'll just say like they'll just name it like, and it's crazy that like they they watch.
Yeah,
right, and
they
they don't even
see.
speak English.
Yeah.
Same thing in like other countries as well that I've visited. It's crazy. Like you make a video and you don't realize it. Like these are real people around the world watching. It's always like mind
Because you
blowing
get caught up in just like the numbers.
Yeah, I'm
right?
just looking at like, even if let's say you get like 10,000 views, you know how many fucking people 10,000 people are if they were
That's
in
a
person?
lot of people. Yeah.
Like 10,000 people is a lot of even 5,000 people in person is insane. So like, you have creators that are like, man, fuck, this video only got 20,000 views. I'm like, bro, you know how much 20,000 yeah, it's not 10 million, but like 20,000 is a lot of people to be tuning in. So never get discouraged at the viewership. Like even 5,000, 2,000 is a lot of people.
Yeah, and consistency is key, right? You keep doing that, and it's going to grow. You're going to grow an audience. Something that happens to me sometimes. I'll put out a lot of things about like the mental health side of like being a retired NFL player and like having everything that you could imagine and being a very happy person, but then still having days where I'm struggling. Like I struggle some days.
Yeah.
And me being vulnerable like that, I'll be like, oh man, that's crazy. This got like 100,000 views or something. Like, how did that happen? And then I'm like, well, that's still not that much. It's not millions, really didn't reach that many people. But
lot, though.
when I'm out in public, people will come up to me and be like, hey man, like I appreciate you putting that out there. Like I go through the same type of thing. And it's nice to know that somebody else is kind of there. I'm not alone in that.
Yeah, you're literally changing people. Like people are resonating with that content. You're being real. You're being yourself. And like, you never know what someone's going through. Like we're talking about 100,000 people. There's people in there that have lost parents. There's people there that are going through stuff mentally, financially. Like these are real people dealing with real shit. And that them being able to watch or hear your story is like, oh shit, I'm not the only one.
Right.
Oh, that makes me feel better. Or hey, even if it's a funny piece of content, a lot of times I've had people come up to me and like, hey, I was going through this, or my mom had just passed, and the 1 minute that I watch you is the only time I get my mind off things. So thank you. Like you never know. Like it's crazy to come across these people because these views are people.
I was gonna say, do you ever, people are coming up to you and hugging you, and it's because you brought joy to their life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's like, there's something special about that, man. Like being able to make somebody laugh that doesn't even speak the same language as you.
Yeah.
Is really, that takes talent.
Yeah.
So
it's
good on you.
It's mind blowing that like even today, man, still like I forget that these are like there's actual people out there that are like watching this, and then you go out in public and you meet them, and it's always cool to like come across how this person came across your content or what your content has done for them. Because for me, I'm just filming a stupid funny video. Like this is a 30-second stupid video, whatever, right? But people are like actually tuning in, and it's actually making their day better, which is dope.
Hey everybody, this episode is brought to you by Black Buffalo. Black Buffalo's nicotine pouches do not contain tobacco leaf or stem. What they do contain is a ton of flavor, and they're packed with pharmaceutical grade nicotine. The magic of Black Buffalo is they discovered a way to make cured edible green leaves behave like the texture of tobacco. And they add food grade ingredients for industry classic flavors. You're in good company if you roam with the Black Buffalo herd. The business was built by dippers with decades of smokeless tobacco use. They manufacture their tobacco alternatives with respect for those products that came before them. Bold flavors, full pouches, metal lids, and a brand that stands for something, American. Their products are also proudly endorsed by brand ambassadors such as MMA Hall of Famer, Cowboy Cerrone, NASCAR champion, Brian Blaney, rising country star Larry Fleet, and Rob O'Neill, former U.S. Navy SEAL Team 6. So if you're 21 and older and you consume nicotine or tobacco and you want to join the Black Buffalo herd, head over to blackbuffalo.com to learn more. You can order nicotine pouches online, and they ship directly to most states. Or you can check out their store locator to purchase pouches at thousands of retail locations around the country. Black Buffalo, an American brand, pouches worth respect.
So first of all, when did you go to Bali for the first time, and what made you like fall in love with the area and want to work with the people there?
Yeah, so I actually wanted to one of the goals I always had, like I had wrote it down in like my I have a book where I write down like all my goals and things I want to do. So one of the things I wanted
Manifest.
to do, yeah, big on manifesting. And one of the things I wanted to do, I wanted to give back, but I was like, what do I want to do? There's so many ways to give back, and I've done like small things here or there. And one day I was like, it would be dope if I built a school. I want to build a school. I want to build a school in an underprivileged area where kids don't have access to a school. So I'm looking like, where can I build a school? And keep in mind, like, I had no clue how to go about this, like what the regulations are, what the rules are, how you would even start such a process. And as I started to call people and like really explore it, I was like, shit, this is very tough. Like you have to get government involved. You have to get like all this paperwork.
Turns out just giving your own money away is difficult.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, how do you even do this? This is crazy. And one of my buddies at the time, I don't know if you know who Tim Sykes is. He's an awesome guy. Yeah. So Tim, big in stock trading, stock market. He's built like 60 schools, more than that by now. Who knows? He's probably somewhere around 80, close to 100. And I was like, hey, I want to build a school. He's like, let's do it. I'm already building schools in Bali, Indonesia. What you should do is, you know, he told me that it costs about $25,000 to build a school from scratch over there. It's like nothing, right?
Yeah.
So what I did is I ended up raising the money through my audience on Instagram, right? I just put a link up, had people donate the $25K. They did it. Actually, the first school I made, I did it on my story, and we raised the money in like 2 days.
That's awesome.
Basically, then we work with this charity on the ground called Bali's Children's Project who facilitates the whole thing. And they'll build a school, and it's in this underprivileged area where they don't have access to school. And a lot of kids that maybe do go to school, they walk miles upon miles to get to a school. So we basically built a school in this village that's not accounted for by the government. So there wasn't really any regulation. You could just show up and build a school.
Yeah.
And their job is to make sure it's sustainable. And basically the $25K that was raised for my audience was to just build the structure, the books, the computers, etc. And then their job is to keep it sustainable. And a lot of the children who grew up in that village, who then ended up going to the mainland, getting a job, etc., they'll come back and teach the kids English. So the main goal of the entire school is if you give a kid shoes, clothes, they grow out of it. It's just a Band-Aid, right? So how do you actually end the cycle of poverty? And it's through education, right? So the goal of the school is to teach them English, to then therefore allow them to go to the mainland and get a job at a hotel, whatever, et cetera, make some sort of money, then seek higher education to then, you know, go to a university. But it all starts with being able to speak English, right? Because you're not going to get hired if you don't. So that's the goal of the school, teach them English. And, you know, the first school was 195 kids, which of course, you know, every single kid's not going to learn English and go to get a job. And,
and it's not
cetera,
gonna,
right?
it's not, you're focused on the masses, right? But you're not going to help every single kid. Like they're just.
But the point is, hey, if 10 of them do, they're going to come back and they're going to help everyone else out, right? And then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we just did a second school with Tim, which is for like 700 kids, maybe 800 kids, much bigger school. And same thing, raised the money on my Instagram. That one took a little bit longer, like a month to raise it. And we created that school. I haven't actually.
Inflation is tight. Right
inflation, man. They started upcharging us. But yeah, I haven't put that one out yet. I have to put that video out. I went out there, we shot it. The school's going up and running.
Those kids probably losing their mind too.
Man, it's crazy. It's crazy to see oh, you might have to scroll. This Bali's Children's Project is an amazing organization. They do a lot for the community. I've worked very closely with them. They're great. And yeah, they also are, there's also many other charities they work with. Rescue is one of them. It's Rescue. Shit, they're gonna be mad if they see this. It's Rescue something. They build houses for families, and it costs about like $2,000 to build a house, an entire house for a family who's like living in like a hut.
Yeah, they live in those bamboo huts.
Yeah, it's crazy. So they do a lot of great work. Yeah, so. That's that, man. It's been awesome. My goal is to do 1,000.
Dude, you should go to Thailand.
I want to.
I'm telling you, go to like Chiang Mai in the mountains.
Chiang Mai. What is Bangkok's in?
You fly into Bangkok. That's Thailand. Don't spend too much time there.
I might spend a little bit of time in Bangkok.
Well, 48 hours is all you need.
That's what they say. 48
Go
hours.
check out the Bangkok River, and you'll see how they live there. It's wild.
Damn.
You have like $1 billion building right here, and then you have a person like right across the river living in a seriously like a stick hut. Crazy. And then go to the yeah, it's like a stick hut.
Yeah, it is. It really that's literally like what it is. Like in that village, like
they're like
you would
on
be
stilts
shocked.
in the Bangkok
You would
River.
be shocked how like some of these people live. Some of them don't even have anything. They just live outside.
And they're
it's
happy
insane.
as hell.
Yeah. So happy, so grateful.
We went in 2016, and when I came back, I realized like how, you know, because I think about I had a rough childhood, so I always think about like, oh man, that sucked. You know, I wish I didn't have to go through that. And then I see these kids in a Bangkok River, And the guy on the boat said, "Hey, don't let the water touch your eyes." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, just don't let it touch your eyes. You'll get like hepatitis or something probably." And I was like,
Sheesh.
"Seriously?" And he's like, "Yeah, just don't let it touch you." And I'm like, "Okay." So I'm like sitting in this little, I mean, the boats, it's probably like Bali, how they have the big engine on the boat with the giant prop. And we're just ripping down the Bangkok River.
For you two, you were probably in there.
Oh, I was tiny. I was in there.
Fitting in there.
Yeah, barely. What they call me over there, Cal? They call me Cal.
Man, that's wild.
So, but we're going and we come around this bend and there's like these monitor lizards, these giant like 6 foot long lizards, and I thought it was a crocodile, and I was like, "There's crocodiles here," and they're like, "No, those are lizards. They're fine." But there's like 5-6-year-old kids hanging out in the water.
It's like a kid just wrestling the lizard.
Yeah,
these kids are tough, man.
And I was like, "What else is it?" And he's like, "Be careful around the grass. There's cobras in the grass." And I'm like,
why am I here?
I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? You know, but when I came back, I was like, man, these kids are like, they were all having a good time, happy. Everybody's nice over there. And then you get over here and like everybody's fat and angry all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like
those trips are like, man, I encourage everyone to go on one of those trips because it really puts it perspective of like, you know, they're not using phones. They're not using technology. They're just enjoying each other's company.
Yeah.
I remember when I went.
It also makes you realize how great our country really is, like how advanced we are. Like even
just to live here. You already won just living here.
Just living here. Yeah. You've won. I mean, that's what I try to tell people is that like, you know, that we live in the greatest country, as imperfect as we are, we still the idea of America is still strong and alive. And, we haven't been taken over by communism or any of that stuff. You know, they're trying, but it hasn't been taken over yet.
Yeah.
And it's the last free place, truly free place on the planet. And people are complacent in that, I think. And I think they look past that. And I think it starts with community.
We got to take them to that river, man.
We're going to take everybody to the Bangkok River. And we're going to show them.
Bangkok River and let them know.
But they're so awesome. The people there, you know, the way it's all community. You know, it's about the community, and I think we've lost touch of that as a society in America. Everybody's focused on themselves all the time, and they don't worry about their neighbor. And I'm not like a super religious guy, but I do think that like how you treat your neighbor, you should treat your neighbor like you would treat yourself. You know, so
everybody, right?
Love
like,
thy neighbor.
You know, you gotta treat people how you want to be treated, right? Like it's important to be nice to everybody. I hate people that don't say please and thank you.
Yeah, or people that are dicks to like waiters and waitresses.
Oh my god, that's like probably my biggest pet peeve. Like if I take a girl on a date and like I notice that she's not saying please or thank you, unfollow,
block.
Yeah, not block, but unfollow for sure. Block is like that's crazy, but yeah, people are there's fucking rude people out there, dude. There's some rude people out there. It's like it's so easy to be nice to people.
Do people come up to you and like, I don't know. I as a football player, I felt like people treated me like I wasn't a human.
Oh yeah, like a zoo animal.
Yeah, like
that's happened before for sure.
Yeah, it's like
sometimes someone will be like, "Hey, you, I love your videos. Come here." I'm like. I'm over here eating.
No,
like, hey, come here. You come here. Like one guy was like telling me to come here. I'm like, dude, if you want to be, you come here. If you want a picture, why would I come all the way to you?
Yeah, I'm not coming over there.
Yeah, but
they do. They treat you like a zoo animal. That's what it is. And they're just. And for me, I get stared at a lot. I think it's because I should expect that being a big white dude with tattoos and dreadlocks and shit like that.
People have pulled my arm. I've had people like, oh, come here, come take this picture. And I'm like, bro, if you want a picture, just ask. Just pull my arm.
Are you hanging out with like princes over there?
No, not princes.
Sultans.
Definitely some big people over there. Some important people. There's a lot of wealth out there, man. Are you talking about in Dubai?
Yeah.
I never know, man. I never know who's a prince and who's not. Like,
there's a lot of them.
There's a lot, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure I probably have hung out with some, but yeah, it's crazy. Like the cars out there, just it's if you love luxury, it's the place to be.
I mean, what is your favorite part of where do you stay when you go there? Is that like a hotel you
I
go to?
kind of mix all over. I stayed at like 4 Seasons. I stayed at like the one and only. That's the thing. Like in Dubai, there's like so many places you can go. Like you can be by the beach. You can be in the city. This is in Abu Dhabi actually. And even Abu Dhabi is like, it's an hour away from Dubai and it's dope there. Like they have amazing like things you can do. This is at the mosque. But you have so much variety. You could do anything. Like, you want to freaking drive a car on water, you could do it. Like there's just so much stuff you could do. It's endless, man. It's really cool.
It's a really cool part of the world, man. Like they're like building islands.
Yeah, some of the stuff they make that's like man-made. It's like, how the fuck did you make this?
How
This
did
is
you even
crazy.
come up with this?
How's it even
They're
possible?
so advanced. Even like I think the city, even the way the wind blows there, it like cools the city.
So they basically use like they rotate like a turbine and it comes in at a 40-degree. No, I'm playing. I don't know. I have no clue. But they do a lot of crazy stuff out there. It's dope. It's dope. It's probably my favorite place. If I lived anywhere besides LA, it would be Dubai.
You like LA?
Yeah, but I feel like my experience for LA might be different than someone else. Like I don't go out, I don't really party or do anything like that. For shooting, for creating content, you know, the biggest content creators in the world live in LA.
Right.
A lot of trends, a lot of, you know, everything starts there. It's really the creator hub. And then aside from that, you know, all the like my airplane set or any prop that I get, it's just very easy to get something weird.
Yeah.
You can get anything. You can get something made. There's so many talented people. There's people that can build you something.
Yeah.
There's so many producers. It's just the hub for content creation, in my opinion. So, I mean, that's why I love LA.
Here it is. Here's the evolution, the time lapse of Dubai. Look at this.
I am.
I mean, it's just wild what it started out as. And somebody saw that and was like,
I feel like this is not even in fast forward. This is in real time. That's how quick they are. They literally build it like in every time I go back, there's new stuff.
takes them a damn 2 years to build a house here.
Yeah. You see like somebody working, like the construction people working on traffic for like 2 years on a highway.
Oh, it's insane.
They've already built a city.
Yeah, they built a whole nother highway.
They built a whole nother highway.
I mean, look at that. That's crazy.
And there's no taxes.
Yeah, no taxes. I mean,
I think there might be like 5%. I don't know.
whatever. It's better than here.
Better than
I'll tell
better
you
than
that.
here for sure.
And they're not
It's insane.
funding everybody
You see
else.
that right down there, the palm, that whole thing, that island is all man-made.
That's insane. Insane to me.
And people don't know too, like there's mountains in the UAE. There's like a lot of nature.
I heard they're putting like ski resorts and stuff up there.
There's a ski resort in the mall. there really is. Like you can ski.
I mean, that is nothing.
They have a cheesecake factory at the ski resort. Like right outside, like there's a cheesecake factory right there. It's freaking crazy. Yeah.
What's the food? Is the food
It's
unreal?
the best.
I mean, it's got to be the best.
I mean, because think about it, they're getting the best.
It's like Vegas on
restaurants.
steroids.
Yeah, it's the best restaurants in the world there. Yeah.
What are the people like?
It's cool. It's actually a lot of, I forget, I feel like I remember somebody saying like only 5% or maybe like 10% of the population is Emirati, which is people that are from the UAE. And the rest are kind of from around the world.
From all over.
Yeah.
So is it super diverse?
Yeah, it's diverse. You get a bunch of different cultures, different backgrounds of people.
Do they serve alcohol there?
Yeah, they do. They definitely do.
No drugs though.
I wouldn't know. No, maybe. I don't know. I have no clue. No, I don't think they're not doing drugs. I don't think you can't smoke weed out there or anything like that. I don't think.
Well, that's what I meant by drugs. I wasn't talking about like
Oh, you weren't talking about
heroin.
the hard drugs. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know about heroin. I'm not in that space. But yeah, I don't know. You can't do weed though. No, I don't think so.
I want to talk about Forbes real quick because did you ever think like, dude, I'm going to be in Forbes?
Yo, I had that written down in my visualization book.
Really?
Yeah, I was one of my goals. I wanted to be 30 under 30, and I remember I was like, I got it when I was 28, and I'm like, every year before that, I was like, shit, I'm gonna end up being too old to be on it. And I had wrote it down. You know what's crazy? I actually wrote it in my notes on my iPhone. And you know when you write a note on your iPhone, if you edit it, change the date, but if you don't change the date, it just stays as the date. I never edited the note, so like I literally have the exact day and date that I wrote it, and then I think like a year and some change later, I ended up being on there, which was crazy. Was crazy. I actually remember specifically when I got it. I was up at like 5 a.m. I was editing a video with my editor, and we're up at 5 a.m. and I had someone texted me like, congratulations. I don't know why the hell they were up at 5 a.m. But someone texted me like, congratulations on Forbes. And I'm like, what? Because they didn't tell me I was going to be on it. I had no clue. Like I didn't even know the list was coming out that day. And they're like, congratulations on Forbes. And I was like, what? And I go on the website and I see Adam Waheed, Forbes 30 under 30. And I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. All right, let's finish this edit. And we just went back to the edit.
Yeah.
That was it.
I remember the first time I saw it, and I was like, I want because that was a goal for me too, was to make that, and I think I would have if it wasn't for fucking COVID. But anyways, it was Rory
under
McIlroy.
40.
That's what I'm trying to do
Yeah,
now. It's
you'll get
40 under
that.
40. I'll get that. But I was looking at Rory McIlroy when he first like came into the scene, and he like blew up, and then he was like 30 under 30, and I was like, oh, that'd be fucking dope, you know? I want to do that. And then that was like a goal of mine. So I remember, so when those things happen, it's just like surreal. People are like, what's it like? And it's just kind of like,
yeah.
How do you explain it, man? It's just like, I don't know, when you set a goal and you accomplish it, you know, it feels fucking good.
I'll say too, like a lot of times with any goal, right? Like it's like, I was definitely hyped. I was definitely so excited when I got it. And I was like, I'm like so thankful that I got this. But a lot of times for any goal, like the journey of like wanting something is so much stronger of a feeling than actually getting it, you know? It's still a great feeling when you get it, but like, it's the thrill of the chase to get something. Like, I don't have this, and I'm going to do everything in my power to try to get this.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed just from writing it down to actually getting it. That whole experience was amazing for me. It wasn't like, I was never like, you know, there was times where I kind of doubted it. You doubt yourself always, right? But to just finally get something that you wrote down is like, man, it's a glorifying feeling. You know?
It is. It's like empowering.
Yeah.
What is like your next big goal? Like, what is the next big statement that you want to make? Like, as far as like for yourself?
Stand-up world tour. I want to do my world tour. I want to go all over. And I want to just sell out my tour.
Which I think you will.
Yeah.
I think you will real soon.
Yeah, I just got to get my material right. Aside from that, working on a movie script that I'm writing and creating. And then I never
want to produce? Do you want to like produce movies?
I love the entire process. Like whether it's just producing something, whether it's just directing, whether it's just acting, writing, whatever. I love it all. But I think for me to make it work for me, obviously I have to be behind the ship of like writing it, creating it, producing, kind of a little bit of everything. Maybe not necessarily directing it, but maybe as well. Very similar to like, you know, Adam Sandler and what he's done. You know, kind of creating this world of Happy Madison and putting out some of the best comedy films. So for sure, I want to put out the best comedy films. I want to have an amazing world tour. And then I'm never going to take my foot off the gas on creating content online.
Yeah.
You know,
bread and butter.
There's always like, man, there's always this pressure of like, hey, yeah, now that you built this audience, like, why don't you leave and go do traditional Hollywood or you know, transfer.
Why, so you can move in?
yeah. So like, and transfer my audience over. But why don't they transfer my audience?
No.
I love making videos on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok.
And it's equating to dollars. It makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense for you to
and
not
at the same
stop
time
doing
too,
that.
yeah, I will make a movie. Who knows? Maybe I put my movie out on YouTube, you know?
You'd be the first YouTube exclusive video.
Yeah, and guess
or
what?
movie.
Everybody in the world gets to watch it for free. So yeah, I think
that would be something special, man.
Yeah, that is a goal of mine for sure. I want to put a film out on YouTube, like a 90-minute, 80-minute film out on YouTube. And then yeah, the comedy, like I said, really those three buckets is what I want to do.
Well, Adam, you know, I'm gonna wrap it up now because we could just sit here and bullshit for hours, but
we can go all
I
day.
appreciate you coming on, and you just go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, Adam W, across all platforms.
Yep, it's super easy. Just Adam W across everywhere.
See, why can't mine be that simple?
Yeah, I got an easy username. I'm lucky I got that username. My username used to be at one point like it's Adam W, and then I got rid of the it's of. Now it's just Adam W.
See, I get shadow banned. You got to type my whole name in to find me. It's not.
Well,
cool.
how do you spell? Because your last name is Wolfe with the E at the end.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of people just typing in Wolfe like WOLF.
It confuses people. And there's another guy named Derek Wolfe in Tennessee, and he just cooks things over a fire.
Oh yeah, we got.
And he has millions of followers. And I'm like, this guy stole all my followers. That's why I don't have millions.
You got to change your name, bro. That's what it's got to be.
Which is crazy. No,
Daniel Wolfe.
She wants me to take her name. She's out of her mind.
Oh, her last name.
Out of her mind.
Who's that one UFC fighter? He took his wife's last name, right?
I don't even know who.
You know what I'm talking about, right? No, he took his wife's last name.
He's probably a cuck.
Hey man, don't knock it, man. He might, you know, I don't know what his wife's last name was. Maybe it was a strong last name. It was a dope last name. I'd consider it.
Anyways, thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
I should probably get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, get the fuck out of my house.
Hey, thanks for having me, bro.
All right. Thanks for listening to the Wolfe Untamed podcast. Be sure to check me out on Instagram, DerekWolf_95. Check out the Wolfe Untamed podcast on YouTube. You can listen on all the other platforms, as well as DerekWolf.com.